Okay, so the next part of the unit 2 is about sampling distributions. Okay, so before learning sampling distribution, we should know some terminology related to sampling theory. Okay, so what is a sampling theory is all about? Uh, we take we use sampling theory to study the population characteristics. Okay, what do you mean by population? The set of observations, the set of people or set of objects or that are under study that we would like to know about. Okay, sometimes it may be difficult to get the data. Sometimes it may be impossible to get the data from all the uh, people or objects that are there in the population. That's why we use we take samples. Okay, so we take some samples from the population and study the characteristics of the sample, and we try to estimate the characteristics of the true characteristics of the population using the sample observations that we got. Okay, so population is about the entire collection of individuals or measurements about which information is desired. And as I said, the sample is a finite subset of population. Population size is the number of elements in the object, the number of elements in the population. How many are there in the population? That is said to be population size. It is denoted by capital N. It can be finite or infinite. And the number of elements in the sample is said to be sample size. It is denoted with small n. It is always finite. These samples are classified as two types. One is large sample, other one is small sample. Okay, so large sample, we say sample is large sample if its sample size is at least 30. If sample size is less than 30, we call it as a small sample. Okay, so the process of obtaining samples is called sampling. Okay, so it's a process of obtaining the samples. So what is the goal of inferential statistics? We use sample statistics to make inferences about the population parameters. Okay, so there are two kinds of sampling again, with replacement and without replacement. If you are doing the sampling with replacement, then though the population is finite, theoretically we'll consider that population size as infinite. Okay, so please remember that point. If it is a sampling with replacement, then you can consider the population size as infinite. Okay, so what is sampling is with replacement. That means you can if you are taking the same sample repeatedly. Okay, uh, that is the sampling with replacement. So random sample, okay, is a sample which we take randomly, and parameter and statistics. Okay, any numerical characteristic related to population we call it as a parameter. So population, mean, variance, standard deviation, all these things that are related to population, all these things that are related to population, they are called population parameters or simply parameter. Similarly, if you are finding mean, variance, standard deviation of a sample, okay, those numerical values we call it as a statistic, sample statistic or simply statistic. And these are the notations for the parameters and statistics. Population mean is denoted with mu, and sample mean is denoted with x bar. Population variance is denoted with sigma square. Sample variance is denoted with s square. Okay, so So if you are taking a sample size of n, if that is a random sample of size n, that can be denoted with a sequence of random variables like this x1, x2, and so on xn, where each random variable can take a value uh, uh, which is from a population. So this x1 is a sample value which is taken from the population. Xn is a sample value which is taken from the population. So what is a sample mean and sample variance? Sample mean is the sum of observations with total number of observations, and so this is x bar. X bar itself can be viewed as a random variable because x1, x2, and so on xn are not particular values, so they can take any value from the population. X1, x2, xn are random variables, and their average is also a random variable. Okay, so sample mean is denoted with the x bar, which is a random variable. Similarly, sample variance is also a random variable. Okay, and this is the particular sample mean. Okay, this is a particular sample mean, this is a particular sample variance. Okay, so when I say capital X bar equal X bar, that means the random variable sample mean is taking the value X bar. Okay, X bar is capital X bar is a random variable, small x bar is the value of the random variable sample mean. Okay, so what is sampling distribution of a statistic? Okay, so if you have a population, uh, then you draw samples of size n, you draw different samples of size n, and for each sample you can compute a statistic. Okay, so suppose you took 100 samples from the population. For each sample you can compute a statistics, say mean. So first sample you computed mean, second sample you computed mean, 100 sample you computed mean. Okay, so those means you write this into a frequency distribution because some of the means may be equal. Okay, first sample mean may be 4, second sample mean may be 6, third sample mean may be again 4, fourth sample may be 5, sixth sample again maybe 6. Okay, so each all these samples will have certain statistics. So you write down the distribution of that statistic. That resultant distribution is said to be sampling distribution of the statistic. If that statistic is a sample mean, we call it as a sampling distribution of a sample mean. If the statistic is a variance, if you are computing variance for each sample, then after that, if you are writing in the form of a distribution table, then the resultant distribution is called sampling distribution of a sample variance. Similarly, sampling distribution of a uh, standard deviation, sampling distribution of sample standard deviation. Okay, and once you prepare a sampling distribution, and we know for each distribution again we can compute a mean, variance, and standard deviation. Is that okay? So whatever the distribution you have, so for that you can find out mean. That means you can find out mean of sampling distribution of a statistic. You can find out variance of a sampling distribution of a statistic. You also can find out the standard deviation of a sampling distribution of a statistic. And this statistic can be a mean or variance or standard deviation. That means you can have 3 3s are 9 possibilities. I'm just telling an example. Statistics, there are some more other statistics, okay, apart from mean, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, so that means you can have mean of sampling distribution of sample mean, you can have variance of sampling distribution of sample mean, you can have standard deviation of sampling distribution of sample mean, you can have variance of sampling distribution of sample variance, you can find mean of sampling distribution of sample variance, and so on. Okay, so this is about sampling distribution of a statistic. That statistic, if you are considering as a sample mean, that is a sampling distribution of mean. Okay, and this is our topic in your second unit. Okay, this there are two cases, sigma known and sigma unknown, and there are some results relating to sampling distribution of means. Okay, sampling distribution of means, there are some important results. Whatever the sampling distribution of mean you got, for that if you are finding the mean, and mean of a distribution is nothing but expectation. So if you are finding the expectation of a sampling distribution of a sample mean, that value is going to be denoted with mu of x bar. Expectation of a random variable is mu x. Expectation of a random variable x bar is mu x bar. And this value, whatever the value you get, that is going to be equal to the population mean. That is what the result says. Similarly, if the population is infinite or if the sampling is with replacement, as I said, if the sampling is with replacement, then you can consider the population is always of infinite size. In that case, variance of a sample mean is denoted sigma square x bar, which will equal to sigma square by n. What is sigma square? Population variance. Okay, so what it says, variance of the sampling distribution of sample mean is equal to the population variance divided by sample size. Similarly, if the population is finite and sampling is without replacement, then the result is like this: variance of x bar or sigma square x bar equal to sigma square by n into capital N minus n by capital N minus 1. Whereas capital N is the population size and small n is the small sample size. Here capital N minus n by small capital N minus 1 is called the correction factor. Sometimes you may be asked to find out the correction factor. Okay, so next theorem says if the population from which the samples are taken are normally distributed, then the sample mean x bar is also normally distributed. Okay, so as I said, we are going to get a sampling distribution of a statistic. Okay, that sampling distribution of a statistic can be of a special kind of distribution. Okay, so that special kind of distribution would be normal distribution if you are drawing those samples from the normal population. What do you mean by normal population? If the population is normally distributed, or if the distribution of the population is normal, then we say the population is normally distributed, and hence it's the corresponding sampling distribution of the sample mean is also normally distributed. Okay, with the mean mu and standard deviation sigma by root n, they are telling. And this is a very important theorem, central limit theorem, and it says that sampling distribution of any statistics will be nearly normal or normal. The sample size is large enough. Okay, so what it says is most of the sampling distributions, okay, by default sampling distribution is nothing but sampling distribution of a statistic only. Okay, so if the sample size is large enough, the theorem says that then the distribution can be approximated with a normal distribution. They behave like a normal distribution. Okay, so we assume that, so we use that fact to find out the probabilities, right? So what is the standardized random variable of x bar? Okay, if you assume that x bar is normally distributed or nearly normally distributed, then the standardization of this random variable is going to be x bar minus mu x bar by sigma x bar. Previously, in normal distribution, we standardized the variable is z equal to x minus mu by sigma, where x is a normal random variable. In our case, what is our normal random variable? It is not x, it is x bar. Okay, so for x, standardized variable is x minus mu x by sigma, and for x bar it is obviously x bar minus mu x bar by sigma x bar. Okay, mu x is okay. So what is sigma x bar? Sigma by root n. Sigma by root n, because we are assuming that they are normal or almost normally distributed. Okay, and mu x bar is also mu because of this result, mu x bar equal to mu. So if you want to find out that a sample mean, okay, sample mean is in between two values, then you find out the corresponding standard scores of x1 and x2 using this fact. You substitute that x1 here and x2 here, and you will get the corresponding z scores. Then using your standard normal distribution table, you can compute this standard normal probability. Okay, and if the sample is large enough, this sample mean can be approximated almost, that will be equal to the normal probability. Okay, if it is normally distributed, equality you will get. If it is nearly normally distributed or approximately normally distributed, then we will approximate. Okay, and If the sampling is with replacement, then the total number of possible samples of size n will be capital N power n. This is a combinatorics formula, you know it. And if the sampling is without replacement, you know NCN. Okay, so this is a notation I'm using, SD, S dot D for standard deviation, SD for sampling distribution. Okay. Throughout my discussion, I will be using like this. And the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of a standard statistic. Okay, standard deviation of a sampling distribution of a statistic is called standard error. Okay, this is also an important definition. I said you can have standard sampling distribution of sample mean. You can have standard sampling distribution of sample variance and so on. So whatever the standard sampling distribution you get, for that you can always find out standard deviation. That standard deviation we call it as a standard error. Standard error. Okay. So that is what I was telling here. Suppose if you have 50 samples, for each sample you can compute sample mean. So if you write this into frequency table, that table is called sampling distribution of sample means. For all these samples, we are finding variances. Then its distribution we call it as sampling distribution of variances. For all these samples, we are finding standard deviation. Then that distribution is called sampling distribution of standard deviation. For each distribution, you can compute mean, variance, and standard deviation. That is called mean of sampling distribution of sample mean, variance of sampling distribution of sample mean, standard deviation of sampling distribution of sample mean. So mean of SD of x bar, variance of SD of x bar, standard deviation of SD of x bar. Okay, that is mu x bar, sigma x bar, sigma x bar. Similarly, you can compute mean for this mean of this distribution, that is denoted with mu s square. Sigma square s square, sigma s square. Similarly, this is mu sigma square s, sigma s. So in all these cases, you are able to find out standard deviation for a sampling distribution of statistic. All these three standard deviations are the standard deviation for a sampling distribution of a statistic. So these three standard deviations are nothing but standard errors. These are nothing but standard errors. Okay, so these are all standard errors. Okay, if it is infinite or sampling is with replacement, sigma x bar is sigma by root n. And if it is a finite and if it is sampling with replacement, this is the formula. Okay. So next we have some problems. Okay, so we did problems and this. See for the first problem and see you're asked to a population is given. This is a population. You're asked to consider all possible samples of size 2, which can be drawn with replacement from this population. With replacement. Okay, please read the problem carefully and give the answer accordingly. Okay, so then how many samples you will get if it is with replacement? N power n, I said. So 1 2 3 4 5. 5 means capital N will be 5 and sample size is 2. I think 2 power 5 samples we should write. What is 2 power 5? Do we write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25? Why only 25?
Y square.
And did I forget? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17.
Sir, 5 square, sir.
Oh, okay. N power n, capital N power n, no? Capital N power small n, that means 5 power 2, correct? It is not 2 power 5, it is 5 power 2, so it has to be 25. So we listed out those samples, and for each sample we computed the sample mean. Okay, and these sample means we have written in the form of a distribution table. This is nothing but sampling distribution of sample mean, and here we computed the population mean. This is the population mean is sigma x bar by sigma xi. So, sum of the observation by total number of observations 6. For this population you can also compute variance. For this you can also compute the standard deviation. So these are all the population parameters. Okay, so these are so for this again you can compute so this is the statistic. Okay, these are all called statistic. This is the sampling distribution of that statistic. That statistic is sample mean, therefore this is the sampling distribution of the sample statistic. For this sampling distribution we are computing mean, standard deviation and so on. So if you compute the mean for this you got it as 6, and which is same as population mean, because we know mu x bar, expectation of x bar is mu x bar equal to mu, so that is verified through this problem. Similarly, for this distribution you can compute the standard deviation also. Standard deviation we got it as 2.32. That standard deviation is nothing but sigma x bar, and if you compute sigma, already sigma is computed here, sigma by root n. What is n here? 2. So if you compute 3.28 by square root of 2, that also will come out as 2.32. That means this result is also verified. Sigma x bar equals sigma by root n. Okay, so that is what verify the result. Okay, that is what this problem about. And you're asked to solve the same problem in case if the sampling is without replacement. And if the sampling is without replacement, I think these are the samples you will get. Okay, NCN 5C2. Is it 5C2? 5C2 means 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 samples are there without repetition. So all these values are computed already in your previous example. And for this samples, these are the sample means. This is the sampling distribution of these sample means when the sampling is without replacement. For that again we computed sample mean and sample standard deviation. Mean of the sampling, mean of this x bar and standard deviation of this x bar. We got it as 6 and as 2.01, and we verified the results that E of x bar equal to mu x bar equal to 6. Whether it is sampling is with replacement or without replacement, this result is always true, and that is verified here also. And if it is without replacement, sigma x bar is 4.05, and our result is sigma square x bar equal to sigma square by n into correction factor, and that value is also verified here. Okay, so 4.05 under root is going to be 2.01. This is variance, this is a standard deviation, right? So these are the two important problems. Okay, so these kind of problems are frequently coming in examinations. So these two are very important models in examination point of view. Okay, so and after that we did some problems. Okay, we also did some problems on probability also. So if you're asked to find out the sample mean is in between two values, then find out the corresponding standard scores. Substitute 66.8 here. Okay, this is the population mean and mu x bar, and this is sigma by root n. Sigma by root n. See here. Okay, so you take the values from the you take the data from the problem and find out the standard scores. Using standard scores, you compute the probability using your standard normal distribution table. Okay, so in a similar way. Next, so these are all some more problems on it. Okay, so after that, I think we have written a tree diagram for it. Okay, sampling distribution of single mean, sigma known, sigma unknown. Okay, what is sigma known? Z is the standardized random variable of the sample mean, which is x bar minus mu x bar by sigma x bar, and mu x bar is always mu, sigma x bar is sigma by root n. Okay, if it is unknown for large sample, you can if sigma is unknown, you can approximate. If sigma is known, you will substitute here. If sigma is unknown, you can approximate this population standard deviation with the sample standard deviation. Okay, so if population standard deviation is not given, sample standard deviation will be given in the problem that you use as long as the sample is large enough. Okay, so we have the discussion on these two only. Okay, population standard deviation will be given. If it is not given, you will notice that it will be some large sample, and then you can replace sigma with the sample standard deviation. Okay, and this will be discussed later. Okay, so when the sample size is small, when you have a small sample and sigma is unknown, the corresponding distribution will be not normal distribution. It will be a t distribution. It will have a t distribution. Okay, what the central limit theorem says that if the sample is large enough, this distribution will be almost behaves like a normal distribution. But if the sample size is small, then its distribution will may not behave like a normal distribution, but it will behave like a t distribution. The distribution actually called as student's t distribution, that I will discuss later. That is not part of your first mid portion. Okay, so that is all about sampling distributions. So sampling distribution of means sigma known and sigma unknown, and the next part of this is estimation theory of estimation. Okay, so what is that all about? Okay, so estimation okay is another way to know about the population characteristics. Okay, using the samples, using the sample statistics, we will try to predict about the population characteristics through estimation also. There are two kinds of estimations. One is called point estimation, another one is interval estimation. And we observed that interval estimation is more reliable than point estimation. So so inference, so this interval estimation is related to confidence interval. Okay, so we'll try to find out confidence interval. Confidence interval is an interval, okay, which is likely to contain the population parameter. Okay, so this confidence interval depends on your confidence level. The length of the confidence interval depends upon your confidence level, as we discussed earlier. If more confidence level will increase the length of the confidence interval. Something like as I said, with 100% confidence, I can say that India will score in between 0 to 500 in a one-day match. So no one scored 500 runs in a one-day match. No? So I'm very much sure that not only India, whoever plays, they will not score. Their score is always in between 0 to 500. That length of the interval is very widen. Okay, it is very widen, and my confidence is also more. But that is not giving any reliable information. Okay, so we don't get any idea about a particular team is likely to score on a particular day. Okay, so So you should set your confidence level optimally. Okay, so and accordingly you're going to compute the confidence interval. So confidence interval of a parameter, how do we compute? It is a sample statistic plus or minus margin of error. Okay, and you know what is sample statistic? That is nothing but sample mean or sample variance or sample standard deviation. You take some sample statistic, and if you add and subtract margin of error, you will get the upper and lower limit of the confidence interval. And what is this margin of error that we have seen in the next page? Margin of error formula is this one, critical value into standard error. Okay, and what is standard error? Standard error we already seen. Standard error is nothing but a standard deviation of the sampling distribution of a statistic. If your statistic is a sample mean, standard error is nothing but standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample mean. That means sigma x bar. So sigma x bar is a standard error in case if you are considering if your statistic is x bar. And what is critical value? Critical value is about z alpha, right? Z alpha or z alpha by 2, depending on your test. I think we discussed more about this critical value in testing of hypothesis, right? So critical values can be plus or minus z alpha or plus or minus z alpha by 2, depending on your test is one tail test or two tail test, right? So if it is one tail test plus z alpha, left one tail test minus z alpha, two tail test, I said it is going to be plus or minus z alpha by 2. Okay, so as far as estimation, theory of estimation is concerned, our critical values will be plus or minus z alpha by 2. Okay, so z alpha by 2. How to compute z alpha by 2? I explained here. Okay, so what is this alpha called? Alpha called level of significance. I said level of significance is different from confidence level. Level of significance is denoted with alpha. Okay, and the confidence level is denoted with 1 minus alpha into 100%. Okay, if I say level of significance is 0.1, then what is my confidence level? 90%. 1 minus alpha into 100%, right? 1 minus 0.1 into 100% means 0.9 into 100 is 90%. If my level of significance is 0.05, then what is my confidence level? If my level of significance is 0.05, 0.05. Level of significance is 0.05 means confidence level going to be 95%. Okay, so if alpha is given, okay, then you compute this value. Okay, so I think this is for T alpha by 2. We don't require this at present. T alpha by 2. We are going to have for large sample only. Okay, so these are all some formulas for the standard errors. Okay, depending on your statistic. If the statistic is x bar, okay, so this is the formula S by root n, where if sigma is unknown, okay. And our discussion is about confidence interval for population mean. So this is the formula, okay, for the population mean. This is the lower limit of the confidence interval. This is the upper limit of the confidence interval that you can see. So sample mean plus or minus margin of error. What is margin of error? Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. What is sigma by root n? Standard error. What is Z alpha by 2? Critical value. So this is nothing but sample statistic plus or minus margin of error. Margin of error is the critical value into the standard error. Okay, sometimes we may be asked to find out the maximum value of the maximum error. That maximum error is nothing but the Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. that is from midpoint of the interval to the end point, the distance. Okay, for small sample, this is a formula. Okay, same thing. Instead of z alpha by 2, you'll get t alpha by 2. You will be replacing sigma with the population standard deviation to sample standard deviation. And how to compute critical values we have seen here. Okay, so if the level of significance is 0.04, alpha by 2 is 0.02, alpha by 2, if alpha is 0.04, alpha by 2 is 0.02, and after that z alpha by 2 and minus z alpha by 2 will be here, which are tails of the normal distribution. So what do you mean by z alpha by 2? Z alpha by 2 is a point on the point where the right side of that the right side area of that critical value is going to be having alpha by 2. Okay, so when I say z 0.02, that means right side area is going to be 0.02. How do you compute this z value? Using the normal distribution. Total area is going to be 0.5, and if you know the right tail area is 0.02, subtract 0.02 from the total half 0.5, which is going to be 0.48. 0.48 is nothing but 0.4800. You look at this 0.4800 in the normal distribution table, and you will get the corresponding z value. Previously we have seen areas corresponding to z values. Now you will be finding z value corresponding to the area. 0.4800, 4800, see here 4800, which is nearer to 0.4798. If that value is not there, see the value which is nearer to these areas. So between these two, this is nearer, therefore it is going to be 2.0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2.05. Is that right? 2.05. So plus or minus z alpha by 2 means plus or minus 2.05. And I also told you that if that value is middle of these two, if the value is middle of these two, suppose if the area is 0.4510, 0.4510 is in between, exactly in between these two. In that case, you have to take the average of these two z values I said. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you have to take the average of 1.65 and 1.66. Okay, that z value you have to take. So once you have plus or minus z alpha by 2, then you will have the confidence level. Okay, 1 minus alpha into 100%. What is alpha? In this case, I have written alpha as 0.05. So 95% confidence interval. It is a 99% confidence level. That means alpha will be 1%. 1% is nothing but 0.01. Once if it is 0.01, alpha by 2 will be 0.05. Corresponding to 0.005, these are the Z scores. Okay. And after that, we did some problems on confidence interval for the population mean, confidence interval for the population mean. Okay. So the entire discussion is about finding the estimating about the population mean through confidence intervals. So we did different problems on 95%, 99%, and so on. 99%, 98%. Okay, so just go through these problems. All the solutions are written in detail. Okay, so that is the half part of the unit, point estimation, interval estimation, and confidence interval for mean only. Okay, mean only. This will be for large samples only. Small samples we'll see later. Okay, because we haven't discussed about t distribution. Stay back. Let me take the attendance.